Alright, I'm going to show you one of my sketchbooks from when I was in college a few years ago. This is this is the first one I made. Here's a little face. Not finished. Never finished now, but some weird tubes with some balls and shit. Just scribbling around, you know. Just kind of scribbling around. Who, me? I'm just fooling around. Yep. Pretty neat. Bunch of different colors. Used window markers, chisel tips. Went back over with one of my pens / markers. Another one, similar but different. Kind of the same, but not. Here's a little narwhal guy. He's got a little champagne glass with a little cigar holder. Or cigarette. Yeah, cubism? Who the heck knows? Believe I made this under the influence one day. I like it. Another kind of odd one. Got a hand. This one's kind of just a self-portrait, man. I actually really like this detail. I think I ended up using this kind of technique or whatever in a lot of later stuff that I made. These little curly ball things, I still use those. And here's some creature design. Not really design, just messing around. I don't even remember the artist's name, but he would draw his characters with these little eye wrinkles. Inspired me back in college. Here's another little landscape. Pretty sure I remember doing this and being really upset that I did that. But you live and learn. Some Star Wars TIE fighters. I might have skipped one. Nope. Believe this one was also under the influence, at least partially. I think I did the big thick lines prior. You can see I kind of went back over them, corrected them a bit with my finer tips. This one was definitely under the influence of substances. You can kind of see I started very confident, at least in my thinking. And then as I went out, the shapes kind of became more and more or less confident. And just some colors and lines squiggling around. Kind of more of the same. I think I was trying to do something specific. Kind of got frustrated and gave up. Did that a lot early on in my art. So this one, the bleeding through of this page led to marks on this page. that I then went back over and kind of repurposed and made into these shapes. And I really like this one. I think there's a bunch of neat stuff here. This kind of reminds me of the tree of Yggdrasil. It kind of looks like a weird harp butterfly. I don't know, just kind of neat stuff. I really like this one. Back in my disc golf days, I was gonna print this on one of my discs using mulberry ink. Bought contact paper and everything. Ended up never getting around to doing it though. But this is a coyote of some kind. Some kind of weird cubist tree. I really like the trunk. Not so crazy about this part, but you know, one of my first framed in images. I do that quite a bit now with my digital art. Went right back to another framed one. This is kind of almost a comic strip. I was in Spanish 2 at the time in college, so I was messing around with Spanish slang. Pretty sure this doesn't mean a whole lot. It's also a Game of Thrones joke. This one was also under the influence. Kind of a goose swan head, and then another face with an eye. You know, just kind of a dual purpose, kind of a finger looking thing. Space whales. Guy with a marijuana tongue. Spaceship. Interesting. Another kind of just a weird perspective guy. Heliophilia. Kind of started using this as a notebook every now and then as well. I like this. Kind of looks like an ant mixed with a bee. I remember really hating this when I first made it. Now I kind of like it. I think it's interesting. I still don't really like this one. I think this one's incredibly ugly, but yeah, people I show it to like it, so I guess I'm just being too harsh on myself. I don't dislike it, I just think it's really ugly. Whether or not that's true or not. It's kind of funny. I like this one. I kind of wish I had gone back through and put more detail into it. But at this point, I don't want to mess with it anymore because this is kind of like a time capsule of my art. So I kind of want to leave it the way it is. This was with, I think I just got a brush pen and I was messing around with it. Drawing faces, trying to do quick sketches. Some sketches of Drawfee, I believe. The two of the guys in that show. This would have been back in what 2018, 2019, maybe 2017, late 2017. This was, I remember I wasn't in a class, but I was learning a lot about Greek mythology. Cats are running around the back. I was learning a lot about Greek mythology, so this is kind of the Hippotoncheires. It's one of the titans that has multiple arms and legs, and it's kind of a giant. Face became, I draw a lot of faces. I enjoy drawing faces with slightly varied expressions. Another kind of just a doodle sketch. I was playing around with colors because I use a lot of black, so I try to use colors more. One of my early watercolors. Believe this was Crayola watercolor. To me, it kind of looks like a strawberry, but to each their own. This might have been a mix of watercolor and my window markers. Yeah, you can see it leaked through a little bit. Or maybe I was painting on this page too. And then I just drew that. Another watercolor, tree. Still learning the medium, but made a shape, a recognizable shape. Another face. This will become a very constant theme of just faces. Really into teeth at this point, so I'm practicing drawing teeth and gums and sharp teeth especially. This is also marker. I had gotten a charcoal or an oil pastel crown, I guess. But I don't think this is it. It's not smearing. I was gonna start something. Never did. Gave it a signature. I think this one's neat. Kind of, you know, it's a time capsule. Some more eyes and faces with my little shapes. I think I started drawing these shapes in high school. And then when I got back into drawing in college, I kind of just went right back to those. Some more little characters. I think I had started watching Adventure Time, so this was my version of a banana guard. Started working on more faces. Yeah, this is kind of a face from Adventure Time, or maybe not a face, but you can see the eyes at least. Was a bit inspired by them. I don't even know. I remember drawing this and laughing, but that's about it. This is another one that I really like. I remember drawing this one back when I was back at home with my parents. This one took me a couple of days to draw. Those details took forever, and I like the result. I thought it came out really well. Kind of another jackal, wolf, coyote type face profile. This was one of the first pieces that I used a pen or pencil and then went back over because I was really trying to, I don't know, just make sure shapes fit and didn't overlap in an odd way. Was trying to draw, I don't know. I was trying to draw different things, and this seemed like a fun challenge. The little faces and drawing different faces, different shapes, giving myself a challenge. This crown was kind of hard to draw. I had to look up quite a few references online. But I think it turned out well. I'm really happy with it. This would actually be a fun piece to scan and then do like a watercolor of now. Kind of similar to the one earlier in the book. I'm not sure why this one came out so dark. Maybe I was using the darker colors. You can see, maybe I don't know. Came out a lot darker, so I think I didn't feel like overdoing it. But there's still quite a bit of pattern detail. Just kind of messing around. I was really into splashing a lot of color on a page and then finding shapes within them. I think I'd seen a video on that on YouTube and decided to give it a try. And then just more faces, trying to fill up the page. Messing around with designs, weird symbols. Trying not to care too much about the correct way of drawing things. This was actually, I was watching the Van Gogh movie, At Eternity's Gates with Willem Dafoe, and the boot painting inspired this drawing. And then I just kind of drew this guy smoking some kind of weird pipe, snake in his hat, and then a lizard breathing. Oh no, that's his tongue. I think it's a neat piece. It's weird. It's fun. It's what drawing's about. Similar piece. Two guys just having a conversation. Was learning how to draw facial hair or just hair in general. Really into side profiles at this point. Either full on front or side. I remember drawing this and not being too thrilled about it, but thinking back on it now, or looking back on it, I do like the fingers. I think the fingers came out pretty well. Two different eye styles. This is probably the one I was more used to. And then, just trying different things. That might be an eye also. This kind of reminds me of Legend of Korra a bit, with the tree in the second season that they trap Vaatu in. This was right after Christmas. My parents had bought me some calligraphy pens with different colors, and I just went to town. I really like chisel type things and things that can kind of swirl from thin to thick pretty easy. I have a pretty easy time of just drawing those parallel and really just following the shape of the earlier line. And I don't know, I loved it. I went to town with it. I have some cue cards that have similar patterns on them. I was practicing drawing hooves. Yeah. I don't remember much of this one. Just a bunch of animal parts mashed together. Kind of interesting. Has a little trunk. Another watercolor with shapes. Just a bunch of shapes. Hard shapes. Some more organic shapes. This might have been during my ceramics class. I had two sketchbooks. I had two going at the same time, so I was flip-flopping back and forth. I'll do another video with that one. Here's one that I never put to ink. Okay, let's see. You can kind of see it. It's not super detailed. There's not a lot going on in this one. Yeah. Didn't know how to draw legs, so I did a lot of kind of ghost shapes. Some more geometric stencils and snake things, whatever this guy is. Yeah, I was kind of figuring out, this is kind of how my current style is. I had to try not to draw like super hard, consistent lines, kind of trying to sketch it a little bit. Another pencil one. This one, I don't know why I didn't do this one. It kind of looks like he's riding has a sled on his back. Santa sled or something. Another kind of just a doodle of shapes and design, just patterns. Don't remember this one much either. Like I said, this was 5 years ago. I do remember this one a bit. I was going to go back over this one I planned on doing like those two other ones where just laying down a bunch of color, then going back over with my pen. But I ended up liking how this one looked. I thought it looked kind of like graffiti. So I just left it the way it was. Another kind of just a bunch of different shapes, different characters. Like this guy, he's kind of dancing. Again, wasn't super confident with my arms and legs drawing skills, so I felt like I got lucky with the legs, and I was like, I'm not gonna bother drawing these arms at all. Then I just wanted to fill up the page. Not sure what this is. Kind of looks like a mask, like a hood with some maybe like hoodie tassels to tighten it. Who knows? It's kind of a neat shape though. I might have to come back and steal that for something now. Another face with some teeth, some crazy eyes. This is with colored pencil and just a permanent marker, I believe. at least initially. I think I used some black colored pencil in there as well. Neat. I don't really do stuff like this. It was another experiment. I was really trying to experiment with a lot of different mediums, a bunch of different utensils, colored pencils, pen, watercolor, markers, colored markers. Trying to see if I like sketching stuff and then going back over with ink. Kind of eventually figured out that I don't really like doing pencil and then going back over. I'm a little impatient, so. An onion. I remember being pretty happy with how this onion turned out. I hate onions in real life, but nice sketch. This, now I don't know if I drew this one or if a friend drew this during an excursion. But this is acrylic. I think I did do this. I think I was testing out acrylic for the first time. Yeah, I don't think I had too much assistance with this book. But if I did, it would have been the underpainting of this piece. But I don't think so. Another similar, I believe this was made on the same day as the acrylic one. At least the black part was, and then the color was added at a different day. I do remember that being, they were two separate things. This was, I believe I made this one towards the end. I had seen a picture of a fox, and I really wanted to draw a fox. And I really liked this shape of it, kind of like coming down, kind of like a spirit. And then I just did not like how it turned out. I did not like how the legs, at least. And then I tried saving it by drawing some more interesting shapes up here, but I just kept coming back and seeing that and just didn't enjoy it. I do like this flower. I was really into drawing flowers at the time. Still am. Don't draw them as much, but at least not as detailed as that. But I probably should, because flowers are pretty interesting shapes usually. I believe this was probably on the same day or same towards the end. I was really, once I got towards the last few pages of this book, I was trying to just finish it. I think I finished this my senior year of college, so it was about a 2-year-old book. I was kind of practicing, I don't know, like just, I guess, using negative space a bit more. I'm trying to remember who the artist, well, I watched a lot of Peter draws back in college, so some of these shapes might be similar to his, just because that's kind of who my primary mentor was at the time. And that's it. Don't really have anything on the other pages because this was a rather cheap book, so the pages were pretty thin. On my later books, I have thicker paper, so I kind of have, I guess, twice as many drawings. Yep, that's my first sketchbook that I am showing off.